Don't let your kids watch it!
Welcome everyone to the Undercover Brony Reviews. The episode reviewed today will be Party of One, written by Megan McCarthy.
Party of One? More like Party of your mom. No, seriously, this is like the best episode of this season.
Oh, absolutely. I love Party of One.
This is an episode that you need to understand something about me. This is an episode that for the first 3 seasons, I thought was one of the top 10, maybe top 5 best episodes in the whole, like, show, right? Like, So, like, I feel like, unlike a lot of other bronies, I felt that as the show went on each season, yeah, there were some stinkers, but there was some really good episodes, and there were times when we would get new episodes and I thought that they would just top each other one after the other. So much to the point to where, I mean, more than any other episode in this season, this is the episode that I think people have been waiting for, at least when people do these retrospectives. So I was thinking to myself, how's this episode going to hold up? Because I remember just this episode opening up a whole nother world for me when it comes to this fandom, right? Like many other people, you know. I mean, I've seen my share of, you know, cringy, edgy POV set to skillet thanks to this episode in Lesson 0. So I was thinking, how's this episode going to hold up? It does.
It just works.
It really does. It works because you see Pinkie Pie. This episode was meant to like be like, you know, oh, Pinkie Pie isn't all who she seems to be. And even though we never really got this Pinkie Pie ever again in the show's run, she was always kind of like looming in the background, right? And it just made everyone just reevaluate her a certain way, and it put everything else into perspective, you know? In a way, there never really even needed to be another Party of One, just because, you know, unlike other characters in the show where they have that one episode where they go nuts, Pinkie Pie really only needed this one, because now with this episode it recolors your whole view of Pinkie Pie. So now now for the rest of the years, every time you watch the show, it impacts your opinion on her. So it's just great. It was so good. I remember me and John were a long time ago, we were just like, hey, here's a great idea for a series, Pony Psychology. We never did anything with it, but
yeah,
you know,
it only had like 3 episodes.
But honestly, most of those headcanons were probably ended up just getting debunked anyway. Point is, this episode rules, and yeah, no, it just rules. It just rules. What about you? How did it hold up for you?
It holds up extraordinarily well, and the main reason for that is because Andrea Libman has such a range with Pinkie in this episode, and she did a phenomenal job portraying Pinkie.
Yeah. She earned her paycheck that week, boys. That is
yeah.
This is the episode that I was just like, man, where's Andrea Libman been my whole life? I need to follow her career.
Well, it's funny. I went to a convention a few years back. I think it was Cider Fest one of the years. And what I basically asked her was, how did it feel? I basically first told her, look, you had an incredible range in Party of One. What was your, like, how did you manage it? And she was like, it was a very challenging episode to do, but it was also really fulfilling. And I'm like, yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense, because the way she portrayed Pinkie in this episode was so far above and beyond anything she had ever had to do with any previous episodes, and arguably anything since. And I fully guarantee you, this is where they got the idea for Princess Unikitty in the Lego movies. Because Really, think about it. Unikitty has a dark side that she wants to contain as much as she can, but then by the end, it's just like, okay, fuck it, let's go. And that's exactly what happened here, except it was a lot slower of a buildup. And to be honest, she basically, for the most part, did as much as she could outside of actually talking to her friends.
Yeah. You know, this is one of those episodes, I feel like a lot of people, just accounts I've taken in, there's a lot of folks like me that came in during season 2, which is just a really good season to come in on a show for, by the way. But, okay, so when I take in most fan accounts, everyone kind of seems to have the same thing, right? Like, they watch the premiere, it's like, whatever. They stick it with Ticketmaster. The turning point seems
USA.
to be... The turning
and
point.
That's all
for
we're
people,
going to say about that.
The turning point for people seems to usually be Winter Wrap Up because of the song. But even then, some people are like, okay, that was good. Whatever. The other turning point seems to usually be Dog and Pony Show, because it rescued Rarity hella hard from the scrappy heat and turned her into like every other person's favorite. But even then, some people are like, eh. You get those odd people that are just like, oh, the Cutie Mark Crusaders talent show. I'm like, no, it didn't. But there's that Art of Dress, stuff like that. Or the one where Pinkie Pie makes Twilight keep Rarity and Fluttershy's secrets from each other. But even still, those are like, yeah, those were good. I think if none of those episodes turned people around on the show, this episode took all of them. This episode not only was the turning point for people on the show, it was the selling point. I mean, there's really no other episode in the whole series like this. I mean, hell, Pinkamena only shows up like once through the entire 10-year run, and she's one of the most popular characters. And I mean that, one of the most popular characters in fandom explored aspects. So,
if you remember, like, real quick, I'll get to what you're talking about in a second, but the only other time we got to see any sort of Pinkamena sort of character was the Yavitaphone episode, and that was like far removed from what Pinkamena actually was characterized in this one. But I'll say this: yes, it spawned so much from the fandom. I mean, do you remember the Silent Hill ripoff fan fictions, the Silent Ponyville?
Yeah.
That was super legit because of Pinkamena.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, Cupcakes exists because of Pinkamena.
Actually, fun fact, apparently Cupcakes was written before this episode came out.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, it's extra funny when Rainbow Dash goes to check in on Pinkie Pie alone. It's just like, bruh. Dude, I saw so many POVs for this episode. This is the episode of how I got into Spine Shank. I mean, they're not around anymore. But yeah, no, this. We've used the word iconic with some of these episodes in season 1, mostly for moments or scenes or song. This whole episode is iconic. Here's why. So it's Pinkie Pie's birthday, which is canonically, according to Megan McCarthy, May 3rd.
Okay.
And she is
it's basically a day before Star Wars Day. That's good. So it's Pinkie Pie's birthday, then May the 4th be with you, then Revenge of the 5th. Perfect.
You mean Cinco de Mayo?
Yeah, Yeah, you could do Cinco de Mayo and then Revenge of the Sixth.
What do you mean? Then you could do Cinco de Mayo. It's a national holiday.
I'm talking about you can switch Revenge of the Fifth to Revenge of the
No,
Sixth, so you
bro.
could put
Here's what
Cinco
you
de Mayo
do.
in there.
Here's what you do. Here's what you do. You watch Star Wars movies while eating tacos while wearing a brony shirt.
You know what?
Ultimate cringe. just
like Vine videos.
just pure, just ultimate like autism.
Yeah.
Okay, so the episode starts off with Pinkie Pie going door to door to her friends and giving them I think I remember some of the words. This is your singing telegram. I hope it finds you well. Go to hell. Venom just starts playing in the background. So
I'll tell you this. There is a song, and if I remember, I'll link it in the description. There is Barry Punch's singing telegram. And it's literally, I think it's from, who is it? Mike the Mike, I think. And it's literally Barry Punch getting more and more drunk throughout each line of the song. And it's like, at the end of it, she's like, I'm finally fucking drunk. It's awesome.
Yeah. So she's going door to door, and she's basically, she's not saying this, but what she's basically saying is, it is Wednesday, my dudes, which means it's time for my birthday tomorrow. I'm sorry, I got mixed up. It's her birthday, and they're all having a dope time. They're all doing that dumb dance that's animated badly.
It's Gummy's birthday.
Gummy's birthday.
Now,
and
I gotta wonder. You were talking about the It's Wednesday, my dudes. Can we bonify that? Can we make it where it's Gummy in that picture doing It's Wednesday, my dudes?
It's Wednesday, my dudes. In monologues internally in existentialism. So it's Gummy's birthday, and they have a dope time. And Pinkie Pie is like, "Hey guys, do you want to come to Gummy's after birthday party?" And they're like this afternoon. And
it's so weird. Everyone keeps saying that.
And she's like, "Yeah, dog." And they're like, "No." And she's like, "Oh.
Okay.
Oh." And then she's like, "Oh, what's this? Hello, 9 Inch Nails."
Yeah. Well,
dude,
I gotta say, when she's going around to everyone, it's funny as hell because she goes to Pinkie Pie, or Pinkie Pie goes to Twilight, and Twilight's like, "Well, I gotta finish all these books," and it's like, I gotta hit the books. And I love how later in the episode that when she notices Twilight coming in to get the cake, she's just like, "That doesn't look like studying or hitting." But she goes to Rarity. Rarity's like, puts her mane in the trash can, and is like, "No, I gotta wash my hair now." Fluttershy and Rainbow Dash are the most awkward out of the whole thing. They're like, "We have a vacationing bear's place to take care of. He lives in a house? No, he lives in a cave, but he's dressed it up so much that it feels like a house. He's vacationing at the beach, yeah." Like the most generic things you can think of. And I love how Rainbow Dash draws on her hoof, saying, "Oh, look at the time."
Hey,
And I love
John. Did you know that eating a clock is very time consuming? Why do I hear air horns?
Tick tock, tick tock.
Suck my... Okay, so the episode keeps going, right? And Pinkie Pie is getting furious, and it's awesome.
Especially with Applejack, because Applejack's just not wanting to lie.
that glare she gives Applejacks, I'm like, dude, why did her and the writers should have remembered this for later. I would have loved to have seen Pinkie Pie's glare versus Fluttershy's the stare. That would have been like force that meets the immovable object. It's like when Karen goes to complain to the manager, but the manager is Karen. World just goes. Or it's like when a furry and a brony start talking about how they're not the same thing, and then the world just dies of AIDS.
I gotta love how I just love that one meme where it's the Yu-Gi-Oh thing where it's like, I'd like to speak to the manager, and then Yugi goes and pulls out his card. I am the manager. No.
It's like, get wrecked.
Right. But I gotta say, it was perfect. It was perfect that they used Kill Bill in the first Ponies the Anthology during that stare down between Applejack and Pinkie Pie. That was so perfect. But I gotta say, there was a cringy moment in this episode. It's not long, but it's enough to talk about.
Okay.
The rest of the voice actresses are basically directed to make random power tool noises. And it's really fucking cringy.
Is it cringy or is it necessary?
I don't know.
No, it's a little on the cringe. So then Pinkie Pie then proceeds to commit a child abduction.
Mm-hmm.
She steals Spike and ties him to the chair. And she's like, look, man, you're going to tell me what I want to hear. I'm going to tell you what you want to hear. Yeah, you're going to tell me what I want to hear. So what do you really, really, really want to hear? I want you to tell me that my friends don't like me and they don't want to be my friend. He's like, yeah, they don't like you and they don't want to be your friend. Can I just want to see my kids again. And Pinkie Pie's like, yeah, awesome. My friends hate me. Nine Inch Nails intensifies in the background. All of a sudden, she tears down any posters she has of desserts in her room and puts it up with just album artwork from The Downward Spiral.
Yep.
And she is just like, she's like Sonic in the new movie. She's just like, I really am alone. And then the next scene cuts, and what happens in the next...
One thing I want to say before we move on to that scene, I love how Pinkie's like, no, Spike, I want you to confess. Confess? I'm the one who took up all of Ponyville's heat when I took that 7-hour bubble bath. And
Pinkie Pie's just
and
like...
sometimes, when no one's around, I do this. He pulls a mirror and he starts flexing. And it's like, yeah, that's super embarrassing, dude. I totally get that. But proceed on with the best scene of the entire episode.
For the next several minutes until Rainbow Dash comes along, and even when she comes along, it's Andrea Libman stealing the whole show from the show. And she's whack, dude. She's talking to people. We get that iconic shot of her like this, and her eyes are going this way and stuff, and
it's like paint splotches in the background.
It's just nothing but pure self-loathing and insanity. And I'm just like, wait a minute, did I just say the word self-loathing and insanity for this pastel pony show? And it's like, yeah, I am. I did, because it is. That's what it is. And it's awesome. I really can't upsell this episode enough. I know this is one of those things that could suffer from hype backlash, especially because considering 10 years on, people still rate this highly as one of the best episodes in the show, when it goddamn is. It's fantastic. And she's talking to the flower. She's talking to the rocks. Then they start talking. She has her own voices for them. Then Rainbow Dash comes along. She's like, what is this? What's going on?
I gotta say though,
and Pinkie Pie is just like welcome to Hotel California.
I gotta say though, Disturbed to be proud of Pinkie Pie. It's perfect insanity.
You're lucky that's from like their it's not from their best album, but it's from my favorite album.
What, Indestructible?
Indestructible is my favorite album, but their best album, it's still probably The Sickness.
Yeah, exactly.
I was so mad. I don't even follow this dude anyway, but that Fontano dude, he was like 5 terrible new metal albums I can't believe I liked. And the thumbnail was Disturbs the Sickness. I'm like, I didn't like you anyway. Now I just hate you. I hate that guy. He's so pretentious, and he's like, and then he always does the whole, well, I critique it because I love it, and it's not that I don't like music. I'm convinced that guy doesn't like music. I've listened to him several times, and he's either really picky or he's just doing this to milk views. But I hate that guy. I hate that he gets hundreds of thousands of views for literally just being a pretentious twat. Ugh, I hate Anthony Fantano.
Welcome to the internet, where your cringe is our binge.
Where one's trash really is another person's treasure.
Yep.
But, yeah, so the episode. So Rainbow Dash is like, what is this? And Pinkie Pie is just like, welcome home to Sanitarium. That's a Metallica song.
Yeah.
And
listen, damn it, we will win.
and Rainbow Dash is like, look, man, can you like maybe chill? And I wish I had a gun. So like, and Pinkie Pie's like, why don't you chill? And she's like, everyone's like, no, but dude, you gotta come with me, dude. There's like this thing. And Pinkie Pie's like, nah, dude, I hate you. But she eventually coaxes her out. And they're just like surprised. And she's like, what is this? What's going on? And they're like, dude, they say it's your birthday. Dana, dana, dana.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, oh, yeah, I forgot today was my birthday. Then her hair poofs back up. And then big happy end. And I remember the first time I watched this episode, I'm like, oh, man, that ended really nice. But then I'm like, wait a minute. This bitch is nuts. My Little Pony. But yeah, the episode's great, and it's still just as good as it ever was. So, yeah, I'm going to give this episode a 2.
Out of 2?
No, it's a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, come on. Could it have been any other score?
Oh, yeah. 10 out of 10 for me as well. I really liked it. 10 out of 10. But it was just so good. It was so good. It is still good. Yeah. Next week is the finale. Them actually going to the Grand Galloping Gala. It's cliche, but it's good.
It's fun.
Yes. So then after that, we'll finally have a season 1 retrospective and move on to season 2. That's insane. Yeah, dude. Yeah. So, until next time, that's it from me, John.
I completely forgot about the bucket of turnips. And me saying skin.
And we'll talk to you guys later. Peace out, Dragon.
Adios.